against an opponent with a better regular season record, or Mike D'Antoni has never owned a series lead in the conference finals.
I have a guess, unless, Jalen, you think you have it. I'm almost positive the first two are true, so I think the third one has to be the lie.
You agree?
I think the answer is A, actually.
Well, then, Greeny, you're the smart one.
There we go.
He and the Suns took a 1-0 series lead back in 06 against the Mavs.
Was that the year that those guys came off the bench and they wound up suspending Amari
2006?
I was on that team. That was 2000.
What do you mean you were on that team? And you didn't get the question right?
You got the question wrong? You were on the team?
No, I was on 2006. So y'all talking about two different things. 2006, 2007 is when Amari and Boris came up.
Oh, okay, we're talking
2006 is when they beat the Mavs and Amari was hurt.
Well, you could see how our confusion
The only thing you need to remember from this is that I had it right.
Yeah, that's all. All right, CP3 had a night last night against the Jazz, clinching his first Western Conference Finals berth. He led his team with 41 points, 7 boards, 10 dimes. There are going to be a lot of questions today about pressure and this and that, but I want to ask you guys, who has more of that pressure heading into the series, CP3 or his teammate Harden?
James Harden. A lot of people are going to be saying Chris Paul. Here's the thing. If you're James Harden, this thing can flame on, and Chris Paul can actually leave via free agency.
Great.
Number one. Number two, if you're James Harden, you've been here before. He's been to the Western Conference Finals. He's been knocking on the door. He's been in the MVP race, which he's going to win this year. If they're not able to at least put up a great fight against the Golden State Warriors, and he played well. Like, we're talking about the highlight is Chris Paul. You know who we're not talking about right now? James Harden.
No, we're not.
He took 22 shots as well, but he scored 18 points. Chris Paul took 22 shots and scored 41 points.
I'm going to go the other way, and I'll tell you why. I'm going to go with Chris Paul, and here's why. There's two reasons. The simpler one, the less interesting one, is I just think he has less time left, which is to say, Harden, if they don't get it done this year, I think will have more opportunities going forward than Paul, who I think is markedly closer to the end of his career. But that's not the most interesting part. The most interesting part is that if I told you Chris Paul has the highest player efficiency rating of any point guard in NBA history in the playoffs, better than John Stockton, better than Magic Johnson, better than Isaiah Thomas or anybody, you wouldn't believe me, but it's true. And the reason you wouldn't believe me is his team keeps losing series they're supposed to win. James Harden hasn't lost a lot of series his team was supposed to win. He's played badly, but they haven't lost a lot of times they were supposed to win. CP3 has lost a lot of series he was supposed to win. I think there's a lot of pressure on him.
Is that part of it, though, that we've watched James Harden specifically fizzle out in moments when the pressure was very high versus Chris Paul, that we tend to give the entire team the blame for losses?
Well, James Harden has always been an MVP caliber player. Chris Paul has really not been in that conversation. He's more of an all-NBA caliber player. And when James Harden has lost, it's been ugly. It was like a couple of years ago at Golden State, the Lil B curse. He has 13 turnovers. And then last year, Game 6, San Antonio Spurs, he just looked disinterested, didn't shoot the ball, and they lost versus the Spurs. So it's how James Harden has lost, more importantly, than who he's lost to.
They stick in your memory, I think. The other game, Rockets will face Warriors in Game 1 on Monday, May 14th. But you have to listen to the post-game coverage, not just from the Rockets, but also from the Warriors on facing each other.
I mean, for us, it was just, you know, like we say before every game, like they were in the way, you know, so we was just trying to get another win.
You know, it means a lot. But again, and I don't want to downplay it, and I know, you know, I'll get criticized, but all year has been good. And I'm just indebted to these guys just for the experience we've had all year.
Man, we won 2 championships in 3 years. We're not about to run off talking about how bad we want to play somebody. Like, we want to win another championship. And it don't matter who's in the way of that. If you're in the way of that, then you happen to be in the way. But, you know, we're not about to run around like, yeah, we want to play them in the conference finals for what? Like, it don't matter to us who we play. However, we got them. All right, now let's get it. We get to it now. But it makes no sense for us to run around, we want them as bad as they want us for what?
That's a very sweet ode to Michael Jackson.
May I say, two things. First, NBA fashion is off the charts.
That was something.
I love the hat that Chris Paul was wearing, and how a man as large as Draymond Green can find a jacket that is much too big for him, I have no idea.
Chess King.
Having said that, he's 1,000% right. No one should be expecting the Warriors to say, oh, yeah, we can't wait to get these guys. They've been the best team in the sport for several years running. When you're the champ, you don't worry about who the contenders are. The contender worries about the champ. So
right.
I totally agree with the position that Draymond took there.
And every move that Daryl Morey has made with this team had the Golden State Warriors in mind.
He said so.
I affectionately call he and Mike D'Antoni mad scientists as it relates to this three-ball era. Anytime you have a team for the first time in the history of the league that takes more three-point shots than two-point shots, you're mastering your style. And that's what Houston has done. The difference is Golden State Warriors used to compete and be a top 3 defensive team as well. Now Houston has improved on that side. When you add Chris Paul, Bamute, Tucker, you have an anchor down low in Capella. You have a wing in Ariza. Now they can win games on the defensive side of the basketball. So I agree with Draymond Green. They've been there before, but he understands that the Houston Rockets are the #1 seed, and it's going to be a tough matchup.
And that they literally put this team together. Daryl Morey has said those words. They put this team together specifically to play the Warriors, and now we will find out whether or not the project works. I don't want to take away from what will be the finals and all that, and I understand we have it on our network. But that being said, do you feel like the way this is setting up, that this is going to be what we're going to view as the more entertaining part of these playoffs, like our own de facto finals?
I think so. And it's hard to say that when there's a LeBron James playing the way he's playing in the Eastern Conference. But if the teams were hopefully, like I've proposed multiple times, slotted 1 through 16 in some way, shape, or form, these two teams wouldn't be facing each other right now. They would be facing each other in the NBA Finals because they have been the 2 best teams in basketball all year.
The numbers, pardon me, the numbers on that screen stun me. And I have great respect for analytics and our BPI, we affectionately call them our nerds.
Yeah, go up close, Jalen.
Give the Rockets a markedly better chance of winning than the Warriors. I'll tell you right now, and I hope, sincerely hope that I'm wrong.
No, you're wrong.
You've heard me say this a million times. I do not believe this is going to be the best part of the playoffs because I think Golden State is going to make this very disappointing for everyone.
The Western Conference Finals.
Yes, they're going to win handily. And because what the Rockets do well, the Warriors do better. I give so much credit to Daryl for acknowledging, yeah, we're going after those guys. But the way to go after those guys is go get Kevin Durant, and there's only one of him on planet Earth. So they're just too good. I believe the Warriors will win easily. I believe they will win the championship easily. I've been saying it for 2 years. It is the ruination of an otherwise magnificent sport.
No.
It is a great movie, but you know the ending before you even sit down.
Okay, but you saw Titanic, didn't you?
I hated it.
I did too, actually. Now that I throw that out there, I hated it.
That was the worst movie ever, and that song drives me crazy.
It's not great.
And there's no way in the world that they couldn't both fit on that thing. That Leo DiCaprio did not have to die at all in that thing. I hate Titanic.
Okay, you know what? I'm sorry I brought it up. That was clearly a very sensitive topic that I was not aware of.
For anybody that has been paying attention, the NBA has always been about dynasties.
No.
See the Lakers and the Celtics.
Understood. But Titanic is really the more interesting topic here. I want to stay with that for just a minute, and I will right after we do this. SportsCenter's coming up 6 Eastern tonight on ESPN after PTI.
Do you think I've seen Titanic?
No, of course not.
You never saw Titanic?
He's never seen anything.
No.
It's awful.
Spoiler alert, the boat sinks.
Yeah.
SportsCenter 6 Eastern, they've got a preview of Game 5, Sixers, Celtics. They've got pregame of Red Sox, Yankees. They'll look at Tiger and Phil playing together and the players. That's SportsCenter 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. All right, still to come. If you want to win the internet, it certainly helps if you're a bulldog and it helps if you're in a hammock. But Beetle will decide if it's enough to win the internet yesterday. Plus, you can't blame fans for thinking a season without a title is a waste. But do the players have that mindset as well? The answer right after this.
Some things should never